Welcome to Ion Franchising, where you will learn the A to Z's of franchise. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Ion Franchising. Of course, I'm your host, Lance Graulich, and today, love and business do intersect, and here you're going to hear that classic love story of how they did intersect. And this brand, boy, they're on a roll. Welcome the founders of Mobility City, Vinny and Diane Baratta. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Lance.
Hi, Lance.
Thanks for having us.
Hello, you're welcome. My pleasure. So, Vinny and Diane, ladies first. Diane, how'd you meet Vinny? Give us that story and a little bit about your history as well.
Well, I come from a background of hairdressing, so this is a new industry for me for the past 5 years. I come from New Jersey and ended up in Florida. And my late husband was in all mobility equipment due to his health declining. And one day in a large rainstorm, as you do get in South Florida, he was in a power chair driving home from dialysis because he had been on dialysis for quite some time, and the chair broke down. So I leave my hairdressing position and I try to come to his safety, and I get him back to the house, and I call the company where we bought it to get the chair repaired. I figured it's an easy thing. You got a flat tire, whatever you have, they fix your battery, your car. Come to find out, nobody fixes mobility equipment. I couldn't find anyone.
Wow.
So I'm searching and searching, and I can't even believe this is happening. Anyway, long story short, after about close to a dozen calls, I come to Mobility City, which was located in Fort Lauderdale, and I was in Boca at the time, and I get a voice, which was Vinny's voice. He answered the phone, and he said, well, that's what we do. And it was late on a Saturday, and I said, is there any chance that you could come up today? And he said, we sure can. And he sent a technician, a well-seasoned technician, in a wrapped van up to my home and repaired the scooter. And, well, my life was calm again. That gave me a lot of peace of mind, and it gave my late husband back his independence because he could no longer drive a car. Unfortunately, he passed away, and I was ready to go back to New Jersey, where I belong. I don't know anything about Florida, and my best friend said, why would you do that? You live in the land of Oz. Everything is always colorful and beautiful. She said, go on the dating sites. And I said, listen, I've been married my whole life. I don't know how to date. Again, another long story short, I go on the dating site, and who pops up but a name like Vinny Baratta? And I say, well, this is certainly what I'm accustomed to. My last name was Del Guercio, so I'm very used to being around Italian men. And I thought, okay, I think I can meet him for dinner. So we do meet for dinner. And at that conversation, Vinny starts telling me what he does for a living. And I explain my story. And we come to find out that you're the company that came to repair the chair. And you're the girl that was crying on the phone. And it just kind of was meant to be. As people say, things are meant to be. And I started working with him at the store, and I started marketing, and it started to really grow. Our own little store started to grow. And Vinny said he has a history of franchising. He said, I think this is a franchisable model. What do you think? And I said, why not? So we started it, and we've been very lucky and very successful and very blessed that we have, if you don't mind me asking him, how many do we have open at the time? At this time?
We're 41.
41 locations and growing rapidly. As Lance said, we are on a roll. And this is a very, very needed business, as it's all about the graying of America. Nobody's getting any younger. And that's how it all started.
Hey, Diane, that's a great story. And obviously, anytime anyone starts a business, whether it's a business from scratch or you're thinking about getting into a franchise, isn't the first thing people think of is there a need? Is there really a problem? And you yourself experienced it before you knew Vinny. You knew there was a need. You were the one making those phone calls, and you couldn't get the service. So I love it. I love it. And Vinny, now we got to hear from you.
Well, thanks, Lance. And you know, it all started back. My grandfather came over from Italy, and they landed in Brooklyn in the
Yay, Brooklyn
in the early 1900s, and they ended up moving out to Lindenhurst, Long Island. Grandma and Grandpa had 5 sons. They became 5 doctors. My dad's the middle son.
5 doctors? 5 doctors.
Well, now there are 18 doctors in the family with all the cousins and offsprings and everything. I'm the oldest grandchild, and I'm the first failure of the family. I didn't become a doctor. Grandpa was a little disappointed, but I failed organic chemistry.
Just as good.
Yeah, I failed organic chemistry 3 times, so I figured there had to be something better. I graduated University of Tampa, and then when I got back to Long Island, I started my first Omni surgical supply. And back then, there were no scooters. We were just doing Medicare rentals and stuff like that. And then we grew to Home Care America, which was I wanted to create a superstore like Home Depot's. It ended up that the Catholic health system ended up buying me in 1998. And I moved down to Florida in 2000. And then I started Mobility City because I thought there was a need. Some people call South Florida God's waiting room. So I wanted to fulfill the need, and it was great. So I made things a little bit different because now we were out of the surgical supply mentality and out of the medical supply mentality. And I wanted just to refine the model to be mobility, right? So you can buy compression stockings and adult diapers and braces and supports and diabetic supplies online. And I just felt there was no need for that. But people need mobility equipment to have their independence and a better quality of life. And that's where we built it, and we put in a racetrack so people can test drive their units, and it became very, very successful. So we just evolved from there, and then I had the luck to get that call on a Saturday afternoon that Diane, her husband, was in need of some repairs. So that's how it all came together.
That sounds like a story of fate for sure. So just to be clear, so the listeners totally understand this scenario with Mobility City, obviously you heard in the story, everybody heard in the story that you do maintenance and you do repairs, and you have how many national contracts in place at this point?
We have 90 national contracts. We through the manufacturers, we service Walmart.com, Walgreens.com, CVS.com, 1-800-wheelchair, probably about 40 Amazon sellers and eBay sellers, where they need a connection. They need a good company to deliver a scooter, power chair, lift chair to a customer that is out of their reach and have a successful delivery. The first thing a senior will say is that, if I don't know how to use it, I want to return it. So they had a very, very high return rate, and we were able to lower that in double digits. So that was really, really important. And that's what made us grow really big. Typically, white glove delivery is 2 men in a truck with no deodorant, and they delivered a refrigerator, and then they delivered a washer dryer, and then they want to deliver to an 82-year-old woman a $2,000 scooter that she bought online. And it just didn't work out that way. So we're more focused on white glove delivery and warranty, non-warranty work.
Love it. No, that sounds awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your selection process for franchisees. Who are you actually looking for? You obviously have a lot of franchisees in place. You award large territories, a lot of opportunity for growth. Talk a little bit about the model that you have. It's not just mobile. There's obviously a showroom. Talk about territories, and again, who you're looking for and who you're not looking for that matter.
Yeah, well, we'll start with we'll start with the model. So we like 1 million person territories. We like people to scale and grow. And in that territory, once you purchase that franchise fee, okay, in that territory, so it could be Las Vegas, it could be Maricopa County, which is Phoenix. So in that territory, you can put up multiple locations without additional franchise fees, which we feel is very, very fair, as opposed to other franchises where you buy the dirt and then every time you put up a location, you have to cut another check. So we like million-person territories. In more rural areas, 600,000 works for us. Our franchise fees are based on the multiple of population. So it's a very fair balance to what you're owning. And then you'll have this showroom that's branded with a very unique look of Home Depot pergola floor, LED lighting, murals on the wall to make you feel comfortable of the community you're in. That's a landmark, and our famous racetrack, right?
Yeah.
And we have 28 different products on the floor, and we provide 16 different services. You're required to have one van to start, and our whole focus is to break even in month 3, 4, 5, or 6. And we feel that that's the first hurdle to feeling that you made the right investment, is when you go from the red to the black.
So Lance, you mentioned, who are you looking for? Who are you not looking for? We're looking for anybody that has an entrepreneurial spirit, somebody that wants to be in business for themselves, tired of maybe working for an airline, tired of being a school teacher, just tired of making money for a large corporation, and you go home with a little paycheck and whatever, and they want to be their own boss and call their own shots and put their money in their own pocket. If they have that spirit, we'd like to work with them, and we'd like to introduce Mobility City and show them how profitable a business like this can be. This is not the kind of business that you wake up and say, oh, I think I want to fix wheelchairs and scooters. But we rely on well-seasoned people like yourself, okay, to introduce our model as something that's very much needed throughout the whole country. And people gravitate towards us because of a few things. And number one is, I think this is very, very important to our model. We answer our phone. When the phone rings, you get a person, a real person that says, yes, we can help you. And if you're a disabled person, or you're in need like I was through my late husband, and somebody says, yes, we can help you, that gives you a peace of mind, and that you know that you've finally gotten to the right number. Not that you're pressing number 18 and leave a message and nobody even calls you back.
Yeah, Lance,
we don't do that.
Lance, just to top, to come on to that, really what we're seeing is people call us and they have a challenge. They have an issue, right? So their independence has stopped. Their quality of life has gotten worse because they can't move. So this is what we hear. I want to go to church. I want to go to the mall. I want to shop. I want to just go get the mail. I just want to get to the bathroom and the kitchen. So, when you listen to these people, and sometimes it's a repair, which is great. A lot of times it could be a rental because I had a hip replacement or a knee replacement. I don't want to own the product, but I just want it for 6 to 8 weeks, which our rental business is unbelievable as far as reoccurring revenue goes. And then most of all, Dad had a stroke, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and then they say, you know what, I really need to buy a good lift chair that I can live in that'll help me to stand up and get out. So we always talk about solving people's life challenges, and our model is more of a show and tell, right? Yeah. You're going to tell me your problem, and I'm going to show you products that could help solve that problem, and you'll make the decision. So it's really not a high pressure sales job because people know what they want to accomplish.
It's all about quality of life, a little bit that we can show them, whether it be a simple walker or a scooter or a power chair that actually enables this person to go around the block or go get the mail by themselves or go down to the dining room if they're in a facility. It just changes their quality of life. And I got to tell you, when you put that smile on their face, it puts a smile on our face. So you do earn a living doing it, but you have to feel it in here. This is a feel-good business.
And I'm gonna say it's a goosebump business, because you'll see people come in that are sometimes desperate, sometimes in need. This is not Medicare covered products. Medicare only looks at necessity, not luxury, and they need products that really are more in the luxury side than anything else. And so you're looking at that and you're saying, gee, at the end of the day, I filled up the register with good revenue. I'm profitable, and I helped 14 people today, and that makes me feel really good.
Yeah, Vinny and Diane, everything you said, you guys are just spot on. I love the information you're giving everybody that's listening now. It goes back to what I said earlier, based on need. So many people that come to me that are looking for a business. I had a call just before I got on with you two today, and someone said, I want something without a lot of competition. So many people are so fearful. You do a burger place. Well, there's already so many burger places. And the bottom line is there tends to be room for everybody if you perform well and you provide that service. But especially in your business, you guys are dominating this. You guys are the obvious player with all the national accounts, with all the wherewithal, the large territories. And obviously that's why I got you we did a deal recently, which I'm very proud of. And let's talk about the process now. So once people are introduced to you, and eventually there's, also include validation on this process, because there are a lot of people listening that are interested in their own business. They don't necessarily know whether a franchise is right for them, but they're certainly on the edge of their seat listening to you two right now. So when you especially get to the validation piece and you have an opportunity to talk to proven operators that took the leap before you, it's pretty satisfying to hear that people are happy. People are making money. You can actually make money in this business. So walk us through your process from start to finish.
Sure.
I'm the very first point of contact. So if someone like yourself, Lance, if you register a client that wants to be introduced to Mobility City, the first thing I do is I get on the phone. Okay, I don't email them. I make a phone call, and I want to speak to the person that's interested. And I have my little questions. I introduce myself. I said, listen, this is just a 5-10 minute call. I just want to introduce you to how this protocol works for you to get involved into Mobility City, because it is a process like every other franchise. And I just want to say that I'm the CEO of the company. My husband is he is the CEO. COO. And, in other words, I have my group of questions that I like to ask before I introduce them to Vinny to see if it's going to be a good fit. So I ask my little questions. I get to know a little bit about their background. What have you been doing? What do you do now? And of course, I have a very important question that I ask, and I say, are you married? Whether it's a male or a female. And if they say yes, I quickly ask, what does your spouse think about you leaving the business that you're in and your paycheck and getting into your own business like Mobility City? And if I hear, yes, they want to join me, yes, they like it, I'm like, yay. Okay. I love to hear that. Not that we can't work beyond that, we can, but that's a big green flag. So it starts there. And then I say, well, the next step is I'd like you to meet my husband, Vinny, on a Zoom call, and he will do the PowerPoint presentation, and you will see what the model of the company is all about. And that will take you anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So certainly if you want to invest in your future, that's worth getting in front of for an hour, and you're meeting the founders of the company. We don't have a sales team. It's just Vinny and myself. And then I introduce them to him, and he does the PowerPoint presentation, and it goes from there.
So we have a very streamlined process that we built that we believe if you don't like it or you don't feel it in 30 days, you haven't wasted any time. So we start with the initial PowerPoint, which is a 30,000 foot dive into the model. And I always say to people, if you want to talk about revenue numbers on day one, you're not our customer because you don't understand the model. And the model is a lot different than owning a lot of food-based models, window cleaning, bug chasing models, and so on. We have a very unique model. We take care of people every day. So you'll have that initial PowerPoint. And then if you like everything that you see, the following call with me within a week is all about your territory, your startup costs, your ongoing costs, your working capital. After doing 40 of these, I really have it drilled into very accurate numbers. And then from there, if you really like it, you'll have 3 director calls because we want you to understand that there is a whole support mechanism behind Diane and myself. So director of operations, director of marketing, and director of national accounts. So you're spending 30 minutes with them. Then if you like that, you'll do 3 validation calls or 4. And then Diane always require you to do a discovery day. And I'll have Di talk a little bit more about that.
So Vinny, hold on one second, Diane. So Vinny, on the validation calls, how do you guys do it? You give them a list of the franchisees and call 3 or 4, however many you want to talk with?
We in the early days, we did that. And then we found out that there were people poaching our model, right? They'd call up an owner and they'd say, okay, gee, you're really, really good. I'm interested in Mobility City. What is your unique feature? And they'll say, well, we're service-based guys or whatever. And we have this and that. And we found out that people were trying to steal and get into our model. So
steal
now
the secret sauce.
That's right. So what we did was we created a password. Donna will issue, you can pick any franchise you want. We like to keep them relative to the size of the territory, or maybe they want maturity. Some will say, I want the oldest, I want a middle, and I want the newest guy, and to see what the onboarding process is. So we'll give them a password. It could be wheelchair, it could be orange, whatever it may be.
Don't divulge the passwords.
Well, they change. It changes every time.
I know. I'm kidding.
So anyway, that's what we do, and we never talk to the owners about manipulating the validation call. Just tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I always say this to the owners: validations were important to you when you were looking at Mobility City. So give them the respect and the courtesy, so therefore they can get into a good validation call for yourself. And the owners respect that's the position that we take, but we don't manage the validation calls. They're free to ask whatever they want.
And I certainly know you have excellent validation. Go ahead, Diane.
After they have done their director calls, then I step in again and ask them, how did everything go? And if I get all green flags and they say, I'm really liking it, I suggest to them, I say, I think the next step should be a discovery day. Because if I put myself in your shoes and I'm investing my hard-earned money into my new business, I want to meet the founders, somebody that I'm going to be attached to the hip with for the next 15 years. Yep. So book a flight, come down to Boca Raton, Florida. It's not a bad place to visit. And
especially in the winter.
Especially in the winter. And come and meet us. And I always say, what's better than sitting down at a table and facing us face to face, meeting the founders and see, do you like us? And do we like you? Because if that happens, then we know it's a go.
Yeah.
After the discovery day, we recommend that they put down a $10,000 deposit, which is refundable if they can't get financing. Okay. So it takes the territory off the map. Yep. Because at that particular time, you're going to form a corporation. You're going to start hiring a real estate person to look for locations. You're making investments into different things. You're rolling over your 401k. You're getting a home equity loan, whatever it may be. And if you have somebody impulsive that really wants that territory, like Las Vegas, like we did, Justin put down the $10,000 deposit. And he said, now I could start having peace of mind on working on my model and getting it to where I want to be. Because franchising that's the bad side of franchising, right? Where just guys will whoever cuts the check first gets the territory. So we try and work a little bit differently. We have some courtesy and respect for that person, that candidate.
Well, and you know, what I love about both of you is I tell people, having been in the franchise world almost 30 years, I tell people, well, let me switch it around. When people ask me, why do people fail in franchises that buy franchises? A lot of times they were not vetted properly, and the franchisee is essentially a mismatch for the franchise that they chose. Somehow they got in and they never should have been allowed to get in. It's kind of like a bad marriage. Bad marriages don't work, and business relationships like franchises don't work. And it's the people, it's not the brand. One of the beautiful things about franchising is that, you know, you have a franchise disclosure document to go through. You have an item 19, you have validation to go through. You have all these steps to make sure it's right for you. And so there's no excuse for you not to be at least an average franchisee, right?
So you're absolutely right, Lance. And if you want to say, you know, why do some people fail at franchising? It's a simple solution to this. It's distraction. They become distracted. If they become distracted from the recipe, and we do have a recipe, just like McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King, we have a recipe, and I encourage them to follow it. If you get distracted and you say that, like if you own a McDonald's and you say, well, I'm not going to sell French fries, I'm going to sell onion rings. Right. Don't change the recipe.
Or I'm going to change the oil.
Right. Don't do it, because they know what works. And
trust the process and follow the system.
Trust the process. And if you stay on that track, you will be successful.
The thing I always get asked a lot, Lance, is what is the day in the life of an owner?
Yes, please share that.
And we focused on that. We talk about what an owner's responsibility is to this business. Are they glued to the business 24/7? Well, we say, yeah, in the first year, you need to be. You made a $250,000 investment and you want to open up your location and you want to go to Aruba for a week. I don't know if that works, right? But that's your call. That's the owner's call, but we don't recommend it. And we try and say, follow the process, and we're going to teach you what is the day in the life of an owner and what their responsibilities are to work on the business, not in the business. Know what the truck does, know what the people do taking rental agreements and so on. So,
and Lance, you know, you are so right when you say make the right connection. And I want to say, from Vinny and I, we've become very selective about the people that we choose to join Mobility City, because it is a proper connection that you need to make. And I do find that out on the very first call. Like I said, I'm the first point of contact. And if I get somebody that says to me, "Oh yeah, that sounds good," and so when do I take a vacation? When do you take a vacation? I already know this could never ever happen. Yeah. Because this person is not focused in on their business. Anybody that's going to purchase a new business, you better think about 24/7 getting that off the ground. Are you going to have a vacation? Well, of course you're going to have a vacation. Yeah. But you're not thinking shouldn't be your top of mind for the first year.
No, I love it. And you know what Vinny said earlier about the ramp up period, one of the most common questions that I get working with people every day on options for them, for their, that, you know, that fit them, fit their personality, fit their needs, fit their investment level. Almost everyone says, so when do I start making money? And they do have the right attitude, most people, regarding it's okay to work hard. Because remember the old expression, most people would rather work 80 hours a week for themselves than 40 hours a week for anyone else.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, this is your future and your future freedom that you're building. And I love that Vinny is very well aware, and so are you, Diane, on ramp up period, because people want to know when they start breaking even, because what's after breaking even? Making money.
Right.
Profit.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just touch on that for a second.
Yeah.
If you don't. So the good thing is, after training, your truck is branded. We have a 12-week to open cycle, and you're going to come in, let's say, week 5, and you're going to come to training for that week. The next week when you get back, of course, your tech is going to be at training with you. We start what's called a soft launch, and that's all the national accounts. We want you to get in the game, start playing ball, and generating revenue. And we'll see people that don't have the brick and mortar location open yet, and they're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 service calls a day from the manufacturers in the area. So we feel that that's very, very important. And then let's talk about the revenue and how we get you to cash flow positive in month 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you have a repair program already underway that's probably been going 4, 5, or 6 weeks, and you're getting 3, 4, or 5 repair calls at about $300 a repair call. Then you have rental business coming in, and our rental model is that you break even in month 2. So if you buy a wheelchair for $90, you're going to easily get $75 a month for a rental. Then when you open up your brick and mortar, you're going to have the best showroom with the best selection, with the best marketing program, with the best Google AdWords program. Everything that we support you on is being turnkey. And now revenue is really starting to kick up. Then after that, we have facility work, right? So we go into facilities and we clean wheelchairs and repair their wheelchairs in what's called the wheelchair graveyard. So we show owners how there are 6 solid revenue buckets in your ramp up period to get you going. And then it just becomes ongoing maintenance for those things.
I love it. People love multiple revenue streams. Everybody's talking about it today.
Of course.
So this is all amazing, and you've given us loads of great information. So what are the hottest territories you have that you want to sell tomorrow that are still available? Off the top of your head, just a few.
Yeah, New Jersey.
New Jersey? We got to sell New Jersey. Anybody from New Jersey out there? Let's do it.
Born and raised in New Jersey, and we have yet to find the right fit. And like I said, we're a little fussy, okay. But New Jersey, I say, if you buy one county in New Jersey, guess what? In less than 3 years, you probably would own the whole state. So yes, I'm hot on New Jersey.
I have a great guy for New Jersey. I'm going to call him when we're done here. So by the time this recording gets out, we'll see what happens with Jersey.
Love it.
So there are other really great areas out there. Boston, Massachusetts, we get a lot of requests for. We'd like to fill the Maine, Vermont area. And the good thing about that, Lance, is we are open-minded to where one owner on certain states could own the whole state. So we had a franchise owner that purchased Boise, Idaho. And he got into the business and he got a great experience from us. And he called us one day and he said, what would it take to buy the whole state? And we have a very simple formula for that, fairly reasonable. And he said, in year 2, I'm going to put a second location on the east side of Idaho. And year 3, I'm going to put on the north. And we said, you know what? You're our kind of guy and you'll own the state. Delaware's the same thing.
I love it.
Vermont can be the same thing. Maine can be the same thing. The Dakotas, Montana, and so on and so forth. So we're in that mindset. Like Justin is considering buying all of Las Vegas and putting a second location up in Reno. So you have Birmingham, Alabama. you have Cleveland, you have Raleigh, you have Atlanta, you have Cincinnati.
So you got plenty of territory, even though you've grown.
Territories available, and we have a good footprint right now, which makes everybody feel good, and we continue to grow it.
I absolutely love it. So final thoughts, final words of wisdom for people listening, not just about Mobility City, but look, you guys are great franchisors that other people look up to in the industry. What, people listening, people are so scared if they've been a corporate person for years. Sometimes it's so hard to make that first step. How do you get out of your own way, so to speak? How do you get out of that comfort zone? So final thoughts from both of you on all of the above.
I'll start and say thank you, Lance, for having this podcast. It's great, and we love telling the story. We get a little fired up about it.
My pleasure.
But here's the thing. Vinny and Diane, founders, owners, 100% stockholder of the company, are presenting the franchise to you. We're not selling it. We're going to present it to you. You're going to work with us all the way through. When you purchase your franchise, we're still there all the way. We're not commissioned salespeople just looking to hook you. And we really feel that we're going to give you a turnkey model that can be profitable in a very short period of time with 3 employees. And all
you need is 3 employees.
Something that differentiates you in the community from everybody else, no matter what's out there, and it gets a lot of recognition.
And I would say my closing thoughts would be, if you're tired of working for someone and you have that spirit of being an entrepreneur, which means you want to invest in yourself. And if you feel that you can invest in yourself and be successful, then you should look into franchising, because it's a proven system. It's in place. It's a turnkey. We help you we hold your hand every step of the way, and we're happy and proud to do that because we know what works and what doesn't work.
And that franchise slogan, "You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself," is what we live by. And we really believe that anybody that meets Diane and I will get an amazing experience, and they'll be able to put their head on a pillow at night and feel very comfortable about the investment that they made, because this is the right business model for the right time, for the graying of America, for all the disabled people out there, starting with our veterans and going to people young and old, because everybody gets injured sometime in life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Vinny and Diane. Amazing. Love seeing you guys, and let's do some more deals. And for those listening, Mobility City, you heard it here from Vinny and Diane. Thank you both. Talk to you soon. Okay.
Pleasure.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much for listening today. Please like, follow, and subscribe. This is Lance Graulich. Until next time.